Outdoor movie nights back in Brock. Daryl Knight, The Standard. Brock Township. Local residents can relax under the stars and take in some recent Hollywood blockbusters this summer as part of the Township of Brock's outdoor movie nights. The first screening is Super Mario Bros., scheduled for Friday, July 28th, outside Sunderland Arena. The event opens to the public at 7:30 p.m., with the movie starting at dusk. Visitors are encouraged to bring their blankets, chairs, and favorite snacks to enjoy this free community event. In case of inclement weather, organizers have said they will show the movie inside the arena. Next month, Beaverton will play host to movie night on Friday, August 11th, with a screening of Guardians of the Galaxy 3 at Foster Hewitt Memorial Community Center. The series wraps up on Friday, September 8th in Cannington with a showing of Sing 2 at Rick McLeish Memorial Community Center. These events are free to attend, and organizers ask those attending to please consider making a donation to the Brock Community Food Bank. Appletree Park to be renamed after Oscar-winning Uxbridge resident. Daryl Knight, The Standard. Uxbridge. A local park will soon undergo a name change to honor the late Christopher Chapman, an Academy Award-winning cinematographer who played a pivotal role in the local arts community. At Council's meeting on Monday, July 10th, a recommendation from the Director of Community Services, Amanda Ferraro, to rename the park on Appletree Crescent in Mr. Chapman's honor was unanimously endorsed by councilors. The original request to adopt the new name came from a local resident, Julia Stevens, in 2016, less than a year after Mr. Chapman passed away. However, at that time, the matter was deferred as the township did not have a policy in place to guide the naming and dedication of township parks and facilities. Last month, a new municipal asset and street naming policy came before councilors, which paved the way for the park on Appletree Crescent to be renamed. In 1967, Mr. Chapman's film A Place to Stand won the Academy Award for Best Live-Action Short. In addition to his extensive work in the film industry, Mr. Chapman was a strong supporter of arts in the community and was one of 3 founders of the annual Celebration of the Arts. Additionally, he was passionate about organic agriculture and is cited as one of the founders of that movement in Canada, dating back to the 1950s. The estimated cost for the new park signage was estimated to be around $3,000, with work expected to be completed later this year.
Lumberjacks execute a trade for the rights to Owen McKinnon. Dan Kearns, The Standard. Scugog. The Port Perry Lumberjacks recently completed their first trade of the summer. Earlier this month, it was announced the Lumberjacks had traded Braden Roberts and Mason Simpson to the Clarington Eagles for the rights to potentially sign Owen McKinnon. McKinnon is a defenseman who spent last season with the London Nationals of the Greater Ontario Junior Hockey League, GOJHL. While nothing has been finalized with Owen McKinnon, he was an asset which we coveted. Owen is the son of one of our assistant coaches, and we would welcome him to our blue line should he choose to play for us. Owen is continuing to skate with higher-level teams, and there is no certainty he will ever play for us. We had 7 players who were born in 2002 and are eligible to return this season as overagers. Our league rules are that we could only keep 4 of them, so we decided to turn one of them into other assets. Braden is a great player and person, but you don't get value in return if value isn't offered. Both of the players we traded are local to the Eagles rink and would benefit from the shorter drive in the winter months, Port Perry Lumberjacks General Manager Tom Parrish told The Standard in an email. The Lumberjacks have had a busy summer so far, signing Charlie Payton, Parker LeMay, Kyle Bailey, Jaden Smith, and Zachary Caron to contracts. Overall, we have added several high-skilled players for 2023 to 2024, and we couldn't be happier with our off-season so far, Mr. Parrish stated. The team has also changed their coaching staff for next season, hiring new head coach Ryan Connolly and assistant coach Dan McKinnon.
Welcome to You've Got to Be Kidding, a podcast that offers a different perspective of life around us. Listen now to author Jonathan van Bilsen.
Perhaps it's because I'm getting older that my lack of patience is increasing. There are many small things people do and say that tend to bother me now more than they used to, and hopefully I'm not the only one. For example, I'm all about saving money, but I'd like to meet the person who decided it would be much better to make the serrated edge on plastic wrap containers out of plastic instead of metal. It must be less expensive for them, but I'm constantly fighting with the wrap to try and get a clean tear instead of my usually ripped and stretched version. Another trait which gets me going is when I'm in line at Tim Hortons. There's usually a lineup, but it moves quickly. What irks me is, and it inevitably happens just ahead of me, someone's been standing in line for 5 or so minutes, their turn comes up, they walk to the cashier, and have absolutely no idea what they want. It's not as if the menu's hidden from view, it's displayed on large screens everywhere in the restaurant. I understand they may not have what you asked for, and that's okay, but to not have a clue after standing in line for 5 minutes is a real peeve of mine. I suppose my list of aggravations is not that long, but something that nears the top is the phrase, "no problem." It seems to have become part of our vocabulary, and many use it. There's nothing wrong with the phrase, except when it's used to replace the old-fashioned, "you're welcome." When you think about it, you have to wonder why it would possibly be a problem. I buy something in a store, go to the checkout, pay for it, hand the person my money, say thank you, and they retort with, "no problem." The answer should be, "you're welcome." It was never considered a problem, as there's no solution. I shake my head when I hear it, and feel it's right up there with "no worries," an Australian phrase which seems to have made its way to Canada. Just like I did not have a problem, I was also never worried. Just once, it would be nice to get back to using phrases the way they were intended. I suppose "no problem" and "no worries" is better than our friends south of the border who simply say, "uh-huh." I'm Jonathan van Bilsen, and this is You've Got to Be Kidding.
Are the Ontario wildfires displacing animals? Courtney McClure, The Standard. North Durham Kawartha Lakes. At the end of June, there was a moose sighting in Lindsay, and there have been black bear sightings around the Pickering area. While these sightings may have been caused by animals fleeing the wildfires in northern Ontario, it's difficult to say for certain. It is highly unlikely the moose sighting in Lindsay and the bear seen in Pickering resulted from forest fires in northern and central Ontario, said Marcella Mayo, Corporate Communications Officer with the Ministry of Natural Resources and Forestry, MNRF. According to her, the Ontario moose population extends into the Lindsay area, and there is a low-density population of black bears in the northern areas of York and Durham regions. However, as bears move south, they may wander into urban areas like Pickering, Uxbridge, and other small towns and cities. She said it is not unusual to see a black bear in Pickering during this time of year when their food supply becomes limited. Mr. Donald, with the Ontario Wildlife Rescue, stated although some people may consider it a privilege to see these animals within their community, it can cause a huge problem. Moose are huge animals, said Mr. Donald. Even a baby moose is fairly large. When they get into urban areas, the biggest problem is they get spooked and run into stuff. This may result in people getting injured or the destruction of vehicles and infrastructure. It may also cause harm to the animal itself. These guys are losing their territories, explained Ms. Lenters, founder and board president of Shades of Hope Wildlife Rescue in Pefferlaw. She believes we are seeing more wildlife because of habitat loss, possibly due to construction. If you see a moose or a bear in an urban area, maintain a safe distance away from the animal. If the animal poses a personal threat or as a danger to the public, please contact the Bearwise reporting line at 1-866-514-2327. For more information, you can also visit the Bearwise page on the Government of Ontario website, https://www.ontario.ca/page/prevent-bear-encounters-bear-wise.
Look Through the Lens by Tina Y. Gerber-McCurley. This is my story of finding hope for the hopeless, including myself. We all have special memories and have saved photographs of laughter, family, and friends who help define our lives. This new season in my life is considered old age by some. I have moved, gracefully at times. Other times I stumble and trip through life. There are life's uncertainties, but there are also many victories. People's stories are connected, and perhaps our stories will merge. So, how can we recognize and value the experiences of older people? On a personal level, we need to recognize the contributions of the entire community. This includes the elderly, and most certainly means taking care of their lives. It's out of balance when we focus our attention on the few who seem to be able to carry the burdens of the world on their shoulders. What about the needed attention for people like my sister, who took her own life fighting a system which doesn't work? Depression is like a bottomless pit of despair. My husband always says, I have my head in the sand like an ostrich. I wonder, at times, if he's right. Maybe others are wearing rose-colored glasses, or perhaps I am. Fighting a flawed system can be challenging, especially for seniors. Writing helps me and is a good way to keep my mind active as I fight what seems like an invisible beast. Many Canadians are facing increasing financial burdens to get the healthcare we need and rightfully deserve. The longer we don't pay attention, the harder it is to ever pay attention. Many caregivers are spending out of pocket to care for their loved ones, the ones who can't afford to, and the cost is expected to rise. I own a small home in the country, and I'm able to dress, travel to appointments with a vehicle I own, breathe on my own, and am not depending on life-saving medications, although they are often denied to many. It's a system where the doctor is even questioned and claims are denied. I truly believe the big invisible beast is trying to kill and eliminate as many as possible. Why it has this appetite, I don't know. After COVID-19, it came out how much of the older population was treated. However, the system was failing long before that in regards to many who are and continue to suffer from mental health issues or frail health, like my husband. The lack of any tangible help for him prods him to feel the end is in sight, and he has no more fight left. I want to celebrate life with my husband for many years to come. How can I move forward in life if I don't speak out? Many are denied claims as their lives seem to have never mattered. What's the answer? Is it involving human rights organizations to fight discrimination against the elderly, the chronically ill, or individuals who can't stand up against this discrimination? Depression can result from repeated bad situations. Whether it is permanent or temporary, change results from needful attention. Some wounds are deeper than a cut which bleeds. How can I make a difference for others when I can't even help myself? I wrote on my Facebook page last month, I need this pain to be purposeful to understand it. James chapter 1, verses 2-4 is a favorite of mine, which says, My friends, consider yourselves fortunate when all kinds of trials come your way, for you know that when your faith succeeds in facing such trials, the result is the ability to endure. Make sure that your endurance carries you all the way without failing, so that you may be perfect and complete, lacking nothing. GNB translation. Yet, it's hard to understand suffering when you need something concrete to hold on to. Still, in James chapter 1, verses 5-8, it says, Do any of you need wisdom? Ask God for it. He is generous and enjoys giving to everyone, so he will give you wisdom. But when you ask God, you must believe. Don't doubt him. Whoever doubts is like a wave in the sea that is blown up and down by the wind. ERV version. It goes on in verses 7-8, For do not let that man suppose that he will receive anything from the Lord. A soul-split person, is unstable in all his ways. LSV version. Verse 14 explains where this struggle, this double-mindedness, comes from. We are tempted by our own desires that drag us off and trap us. The CEV version. My husband feels the government calls the older generation, the frail, and those who have mental health issues, useless eaters. Many think I am joking when I say we may be eating cat food with our crackers. This, due to a failing system where many individuals do not seem to matter. Maybe I am wearing rose-colored glasses after all, because James chapter 1, verse 12 shows the purpose in it all. Blessed is he, the one who patiently endures trials, for when he has stood the test, he will gain the victor's crown, even the crown of life, which the Lord has promised to those who love him. The WNT version. Despite circumstances, I continue to believe hope is happening behind the scenes in our faithfulness in Christ. He entered a weary world and revealed the heart and purpose of a God who never fails us. I continue to step forward in faith.
You've Got to Be Kidding was presented by X4 Media with permission from the Standard Media Group. We endeavor to make all information contained in this program as accurate as possible at production time. X4 Media and the Standard Media Group are not responsible for any liabilities resulting from information contained in this program. For more information, please visit x4media.ca.
The Standard Podcast was produced by Greenstream Studio for the Standard newspaper.